Hi, my name is Angela, and in this video I'm going to be talking about LinkedIn and kind of how I use this social media platform for my residency preparation and also kind of my life as a pharmacy student and pharmacist. I am a PGY1 resident going through training, and I just started back in June. I'm doing an ambulatory care track, and also I'm pursuing a career in academia. These videos are just to share my experience and hopefully give some advice for those of you who find it helpful. And so in this video, I wanted to talk about LinkedIn because it's something that is just important to me that people know about, at least have the option. It's not a mandatory thing for residency or anything, or even, life, because social media is kind of, growing and it's a new thing, but not everyone has to be on it in order to be successful. But I think it's really easy and helpful, so I kind of wanted to point it out, and it could be a really helpful tool for those of you who do decide to use it. I'm not going to put my LinkedIn in the description just because you guys don't need to see my LinkedIn, but you should look at other pharmacy students or pharmacists that you know and kind of just get ideas off of their pages to help form whatever you want to do with your LinkedIn. So what is it? It's a social media and networking app, just a kind of a professional social media platform. I will put a link to LinkedIn below, and it's free to sign up. And honestly, when I was a pharmacy student, it was kind of occasionally used, but now I hear that most people have a LinkedIn, so it's way more popular than it ever used to be. But it's really a way for you to professionally present yourself to the world and the social media world. So, more professional than looking someone up on Facebook, you can look someone up on LinkedIn and then connect with them. It's kind of like a professional interaction. So that's kind of the way it works. I think of it as kind of like my CV plus connections plus my activities. Those are kind of the three realms, because as I'll talk about, the different segments of LinkedIn are kind of like your CV, and then you connect with other professionals, and then you also have posts that you would do like a normal social media platform. But why should you care? So pharmacy is a professional career with a network, and one of the things I got hammered into me in pharmacy school was pharmacy is a small world. So the more connections you can make, the better, because then you can have a lot of different opportunities as a pharmacist. So, and it's also sometimes it's kind of in life, it's not what you know, but who you know. So anything you can help to build your networking skills is always going to be a great asset to you and something you should try to consider and do. So as a residency candidate, pharmacy student, pharmacist, and current resident who's seeking PGY2 or future jobs, or really anyone, LinkedIn can really help make you accessible to those who will search for candidates on LinkedIn. Let's say it's a pharmacy who's looking for pharmacists in the area. There's search criteria you can do for those who have graduated from pharmacy schools from your certain state, or even have a certain organization involvement that pertains to your pharmacy field. So people will search, and you'll get notifications on LinkedIn that people have searched for you. You can see what businesses do that. Also, I think you can see a couple different individual searches. Again, it's free, and I upgrade to premium. I never have, but that way you can see, I think, who's all has searched for you. How do you get started? So I have a couple other videos on CVs. I would encourage anyone who's interested to learn more to watch those. But after you watch those, you would kind of know what should be in a CV and kind of what you have, and then I would just merge as much as you feel appropriate to the LinkedIn space. Now, CVs are, I think, a little bit more in depth. There's kind of debate about that, I guess. People have different CV styles, but LinkedIn should be, I think, much shorter, because you're just wanting to do highlights. People usually aren't going on there to learn a ton about you. They're just going to kind of get a brief synopsis of what you're all about in your professional life. But the CV can really help you start to build just what's on there. You'll see that there are professional organizations, your work experience, your education, licenses, community service. So yeah, very similar breakdown to a CV. Then of course you have a profile picture and then a cover photo. Definitely professional picture. And I would encourage you to change the cover photo, just because you can just make it anything. It doesn't have to be a photo of you. Really good ideas, in my opinion, are something of your student organization involvement if you're a pharmacy student, or your work involvement if you're working, or even just something related to kind of like your interests. So let's say you interests within pharmacy. So if you're really proud of your school, you can put your school logo. If you're really proud of just the hospital pharmacy you work at, you can do some like IV kind of image. It's just something to make you kind of stand out and that you're interested and you're engaged, versus just keeping the same old picture that they give you from the stock photos. And then after you kind of personalize it, start adding people. I never question sending someone a LinkedIn invite. it's just kind of like, it doesn't seem weird to me because I'm just wanting to connect with them in a professional way and have them as a contact. And I don't think that that could ever be seen as a weird thing unless you really have no connection to them. You know, if you're just liking random people and I guess not friending them, you're connecting with them. But if you have an interest with them, or if you have some sort of a backup that you could then talk about in case you guys were to meet or to connect in the future area, then just add them. You know, I added a lot of different teachers, a lot of different preceptors, co-pharmacy students, people I met just once, adding them on LinkedIn afterwards. You just never know when that contact will come in handy. So I feel like go on the side of do it versus not. And make sure that you're, going back to your profile, that your name and then your biography or your bio are very targeted to what you want people to know about you. So after I attended some LinkedIn workshops, you know, your name should say something in terms of where you're going or what your current role is, more than just saying, oh, you know, I'm Angela, I'm a pharmacist. Saying, I'm Angela, I am a pharmacy resident in this track and I'm pursuing this, and like this is my path, or this is my role, or this is kind of the area I work in. Being more detailed so that they really get a sense from the first name. And then your biography, you know, rather than saying things like, oh, I love to do this, and this is a hobby of mine. Remember, this is a professional social media network, so you should just say, this is my education, this is my work passions, these are kind of like my work experiences, this is what I'm heading towards. Just keep that in mind. That's my advice for LinkedIn. So when should you get started? I would say as soon as, you know, possible. I don't think there's any time that's too early. I started this around my P2 year because that's when it was, again, becoming talked about, becoming more common. And then I didn't do any posts, honestly. But when P4 year started, I wanted to make sure that people knew that I was involved in my career and involved professionally. So I started posting and putting a little reminder on my calendar to post every 2 weeks. Usually it was at the end of a rotation, and I would reflect on the experience and thank the people who I had rotation with. But otherwise it would be even presentations I did within the rotation or outside or community service or even just my residency search path. So it wasn't that hard to come up with things to post on there. It just has to be small, and then you can and see what other pharmacy students are doing, and stay involved there and get ideas from there. So I checked kind of, you know, I think we all check social media pretty frequently, but I checked this probably once a week or every other week when I would post. Not something I feel like you need to be constantly on top of. And then you can also like things, kind of like you do Facebook pages, you like pages. You can like certain organizations or advocacy groups and things like that. And again, it's just another way to show your interest. Even if you're not a member of that organization, you like it, you're interested in it. It's just something, again, it's a talking point, or people can realize that maybe you're a good candidate for whatever job they're looking for. And then lastly, I would go ahead and try to get this in your CV. I think I said this maybe in the CV, but you will have a URL for your specific LinkedIn page. And so translate that to your resume and your CV so that when someone gets your electronic CV, they can just click, or they can type in your LinkedIn and go directly to you. They could always search for your name, but that's just something that can be really easy and something I really enjoyed doing. I don't know if anyone, I guess, used it, but I like the fact that they could easily see kind of like an online version, because you don't really put a picture of yourself in your CV, but they could see you on your LinkedIn. If you run a student organization, or if you're a leader in there, you should definitely consider having your student organization have a LinkedIn. So that way, again, you can have your members, it's similar to a Facebook group, but have your members all connected on that platform, and to engage and do different things and to stay updated and get activity updates. But that's it. I hope that was helpful. I kind of ran through what I would tell someone else about LinkedIn and kind of my experience and what I think they should use it for as a pharmacy student, resident, pharmacist. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat below. If you have any ideas of what you'd like to hear on this channel, that would be helpful. Please let me know in the chat as well. Like the video if you liked it, and share it with someone who you think it could help. And I will see you guys next week.